Ever feel like all your data is just, out there, like floating around in the ether?
It can feel that way, for sure.
Well, today we're diving into something that could change that feeling. Decentralized AI.
Ah, yes. Hot topic lately.
Really is. It's like, imagine the internet, but for AI. We've been digging into this new paper from MIT Media Lab. Fascinating stuff.
They make some really interesting points about where the field's headed.
Yeah, and they start with this story about a woman named Sarah. She's got some, ongoing health issues, post-COVID.
Right, long COVID, still so much we don't know.
Exactly. So she goes to the doctor, but they're kind of stumped. No clear answers.
Happens all the time, unfortunately. Our healthcare system's a bit of a maze.
Total maze. And here's the thing. You just know there's probably data out there stuck somewhere that could help her.
Silos, yeah. Huge problem. Silos. And that's a big part of what's got folks excited about decentralized AI.
Breaking down those walls, right?
Exactly, yeah. So the paper, it points to these three big trends pushing us in that direction, starting with, all those personalized AI assistants everyone's talking about.
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
Imagine if one company had it all. Your emails, your finances, your, entire medical history.
Okay, that's getting a little Black Mirror, even for me.
Right. Gives me the chills just thinking about it. And it's not just the creep factor, it's the sheer volume of data.
Unfathomable, really.
It's like trying to, I don't know, stuff the entire internet into a shoebox.
And that brings us to trend number 2, which is AI PCs.
So everyone's computer is AI powered.
Right, and imagine if they could all work together, sharing processing power, sharing data, unlocking a whole new level of AI.
Exactly, a network of AI brains instead of just one giant one, no matter how giant.
Which is actually the third trend, right? This shift from these huge AI models to more, what do they call it? Polyolithic models.
Yeah, polyolithic. Basically, it means we need specialized AI components all working together.
A well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Each part with its own strength, but together, much more powerful.
So we've got all these trends pushing us towards decentralized AI. But the MIT paper doesn't just talk tech. They get into the weeds on what's wrong with our current centralized approach.
Yeah, they don't hold back.
No, they don't. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think, because it impacts everyone, not just the techies.
Oh, absolutely. These are societal issues.
100%.
Yeah.
So they hit on these major concerns, right? Remember all those data breaches? Seem like every other week.
It's relentless.
It's because these centralized systems, they're honeypots. All the data's in one place, easy target.
And when you have a few companies controlling all that data...
Yeah, competition takes a hit.
Collaboration, too. Everybody's hoarding their data gold.
It's like putting all your eggs in one very breakable basket. Speaking of control, they also get into this whole question of governance.
Yes, the power dynamics.
Should a handful of companies really have that much power over how AI impacts all of us?
It's a huge question. And then there's the issue of compensation, which is just messy.
Oh, tell me about it. We've got artists suing AI companies left and right.
Rightfully so in many cases. Their work's being used without consent, without compensation.
Our data has value. Who should profit from it? It's the Wild West out there.
It really is. Decentralization, though, that could give individuals more control.
Imagine, setting the price for your own data.
Exactly. You decide how it's used, who benefits, the whole deal. But maybe the most compelling argument for decentralized AI.
Yeah, hit me.
It's the innovation.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think back, right? Remember when only, giant corporations had websites?
Yeah, the early days of the internet.
Right. Centralized AI. It could stifle innovation in the exact same way.
Building a wall around creativity.
Exactly. Smaller players priced out, big guys call all the shots. Not exactly a recipe for progress.
Decentralization. It's like tearing down those walls.
Leveling the playing field, giving everyone a shot to contribute to the AI revolution.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the problems with the centralized approach, but what's the alternative look like? Okay, so we've got the problems with the centralized approach, but what's the alternative look like?
It's not, robots taking over or anything.
Phew. So no AI overlords.
Not quite. Decentralized AI, it's more about, spreading the wealth, so to speak, distributing the power and the decision-making.
So instead of one big AI brain calling the shots.
You've got a network of computers all kind of chipping in, contributing to a collective intelligence.
Okay, so like a team effort, but with AI.
Exactly. And what's really cool is that this approach, It could unlock so much potential. Imagine if researchers could actually access all that data that's currently like locked away in silos.
Right, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
All those missed connections.
We could see medical breakthroughs happen faster, solutions to climate change even, supply chains that are, actually optimized.
Okay, so unlocking the data vault.
Yeah.
I like it. But wouldn't this approach, with everyone kind of doing their own thing, wouldn't it make AI development more, I don't know, chaotic?
That's the interesting thing about it. See, more eyes on the prize, it actually means more transparency, more accountability, less chance of, one bad actor causing harm.
Okay, I see. So it's like a self-regulating system almost.
Kind of, yeah. Remember Sarah's situation?
Oh, yeah, right. The healthcare maze.
Decentralized AI, it could be the key to connecting her data with, the right specialists, getting her answers faster.
So it's not just about access to more data. It's about building trust and responsibility into the system itself.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the individual. Remember how we're talking about like data having value.
Right. Instead of just being siphoned off.
Decentralized AI, it could actually pave the way for data markets where you, the individual, you control your information. You even potentially profit from it.
Whoa, okay, now that's empowering. Sign me up. But, okay, realistically, how do we get from where we are now to this decentralized future? It's not like flipping a switch, right?
Definitely not a flip the switch situation. It's a challenge, a big one. But the MIT paper, it does point to some existing technologies that could like provide a foundation.
Lay the groundwork.
Right. So they talk about federated learning, for example.
Okay, remind me, how did that work again?
So with federated learning, you train AI models on decentralized data, but you don't actually have to move the data itself.
So instead of bringing all the data to the model, you're basically bringing the model to the data. Kind of brilliant when you think about it.
It is pretty clever. But
Correct.
the paper also points out that a lot of the current federated learning approaches, they still rely on this like centralized coordinator,
Which kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like, are we decentralized or aren't we? They also look at Web3 and blockchain technology.
Okay, so more than just cryptocurrency.
Way more, yeah. Blockchain, it's about creating these systems that are secure, transparent, tamper-proof.
Got it. But not a silver bullet.
Not quite. AI, it needs more than what blockchain can currently offer. It's a tool in the toolbox, not the whole toolbox. The authors, they also explore distributed AI, which it actually works really well in controlled environments.
Like those massive data centers.
Exactly. But the real world, it's messy.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi cuts out at least twice a day.
Exactly, see. Devices go offline, connections are unreliable, so we need solutions that can, roll with the punches.
You adapt on the fly.
Right. And then, get this, they even touch on volunteer computing.
Oh, like that folding home project.
Exactly, where people, they donate their spare computing power for research.
I deal on that on my old laptop. Felt good, contributing to something bigger.
It's a fantastic example of like decentralized resources in action, but for decentralized AI to truly take off, we need to be thinking even bigger.
Go big or go home.
Right. The paper, it really stresses the importance of extending that open source ethos. But beyond just code, we're talking about data sets, computing power, the whole AI development process.
So open sourcing AI itself. Yeah. So open sourcing AI itself sounds like a tall order. How do we actually, build this decentralized future? What needs to happen?
Yeah, it's a big challenge for sure. But the MIT paper, it does a good job of like breaking it down into some key areas we need to focus on.
Okay, so like a roadmap, a blueprint for decentralized AI.
Exactly. And they lay out these 5 pillars, which are kind of like the essential ingredients for success, right?
Okay, I like it. So like a recipe, we need all the right ingredients and just the right amounts to make this work.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's really interesting is how like interconnected they all are.
Okay, so it's not just like checking boxes. This is more nuanced.
Way more nuanced. So pillar number 1, it all starts with privacy.
Of course, got to have privacy. That's a big one.
Huge. But it's not enough to just like promise it, It's got to be baked into the very foundation of the system.
Okay, so even if there's a breach, the data's useless, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Privacy by design. And then pillar number 2, we need verifiability.
Verifiability, okay. So being able to trust the data, basically.
Yeah, so we need a way to know that the data and algorithms we're using, they're legit, even if we don't actually know, like, who created them.
Okay, so kind of like digital signatures, but for data and AI.
Exactly. A way to build that trust right into the system itself. Pillar number 3 is a big one. Incentives.
Right. Got to give people a reason to want to participate in this whole thing, right?
100%. And the paper talks about like creating data markets where individuals, you, me, we get to set the price for our information.
Wait, so instead of companies just taking our data for free.
You control how it's used, who benefits, even get compensated for it.
Okay, now that completely changes things. Like, data becomes an asset, not just something companies take from us.
Exactly. It's about time, right?
Totally. So, privacy, verifiability, incentives. What's next? What else we got?
All right, so pillar number 4, this one's really interesting. It's orchestration.
Orchestration. Okay, I'm not sure I follow.
So imagine, right, we've got all these decentralized agents all doing their own thing.
Like a symphony of AI, kind of?
Exactly, but how do we coordinate all these different players without a central authority calling the shots?
Okay, yeah, I see the challenge there. It's like, how do you conduct an orchestra without a conductor?
Pretty much. It's one of the biggest brain melters in decentralized AI for sure.
So, how do we even begin to tackle that?
It's going to take some serious ingenuity. No easy answers there, unfortunately. And then finally, pillar number 5, we've got the user experience, what they call crowd UX.
Right, because what good is all this amazing technology if no one knows how to use it?
100%. We need a system that's both powerful and easy to use. If it's too complicated, people just won't bother.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit if I can't figure out an app in like 5 minutes, I'm moving on.
Exactly. And the paper acknowledges that there are some really gnarly research challenges ahead. For example, how do you run these complex computations on data, but without actually seeing the data itself? That's a tough one.
Yeah, like how do you even approach that?
Right. And then there's the whole issue of keeping out the bad actors,
Yeah.
right? The folks who want to game the system or corrupt the data.
Oh yeah, that's right. Got to keep the Wild West in check. Digital sheriffs, the whole bit.
For sure. And then there's the whole challenge of building those data markets we talked about. How do you even determine the value of data? How do you establish consent? How do you make sure everyone gets a fair deal?
Right, right. Feels like we're not just talking about technology anymore. We're talking about building like a whole new economy for the age of AI.
We are. We really are. And it's not going to be easy. There's going to be bumps along the way, disagreements, probably some epic fails even.
Oh, for sure. Got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, as they say. But hey, at least we're having the conversation, right?
Absolutely. That's where it starts. And this MIT paper, it's a great reminder that, decentralized AI, it's not just a technological shift, it's a societal one. It's about rethinking how we value data, knowledge, even power itself.
Democratizing AI.
Yeah.
Making it more accessible, equitable, beneficial for everyone.
Exactly. That's a future worth striving for.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we're just about out of time. Big thanks to our expert for, taking us on this deep dive into the world of decentralized AI. Super fascinating stuff.
My pleasure. Always happy to nerd out about this stuff.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. We'll catch you next time, same place, for another deep dive into the future of AI. Until then, keep asking those big questions, folks, and who knows, maybe you'll be the ones to build that decentralized future.